Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Clearly there's something going on with my eCam that I'm not familiar with, so I need to troubleshoot that a little bit more. So I deleted a whole bunch of files today, like a crazy amount of videos and pictures and graphics and all sorts of stuff. Okay, breathing, breathing, breathing zen. Okay, so toilet paper technique. Let's get this done so that you guys can like go try this because you're gonna love it. You're going to love it. Okay, so if you were watching my Facebook, you would maybe have seen this part. If you were not, I'm sorry. Let's recap. Okay, so good thing I didn't get very far. So what I want you to do, I have done this technique with various items around the house. But this time we are going to use toilet paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've told you you need toilet paper, you need a spritzer, you need an embossing folder, you need a die machine. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your toilet paper. It doesn't matter what toilet paper, any toilet paper. It does not matter if it is high-end toilet paper or dollar store toilet paper, whatever. You may just have to work on how thick you want it, which might mean just more layers as you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of measure out how wide our embossing folder is. Keeping in mind, we'll probably trim this after, okay? So basically, I've already done this because I was trying to do this on my Facebook Live. So I'm just going to fold. Now, when you're folding your toilet paper, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to layer your toilet paper. But when you do this, you really want to focus on making sure that it's even, like it's not sloppily, is that even a word? Sloppily folded, okay? So try to keep the folds nice and clean. And then you're just kind of going, it doesn't matter if you go back and forth or if you just keep folding across. It really does not matter. So again, just trying to keep that as a nice tight crease. And then like this. So again, it does not matter what kind of toilet paper you're using. This, I think, is just cheap toilet paper. I'm not even sure. So depending on what you're comfortable with, you may have to try it a couple different times to see what you like and don't like. The first time I did mine, I think I only used like 3 layers, and it's pretty thin. And if you have to trim it, it makes it a little bit difficult on your paper trimmer. So maybe it's better to use more layers so that you end up with like thicker. Okay, so what you're going to do once you have your toilet paper folded, and it's about the size of my embossing folder, keeping in mind we're probably going to have to trim this, right? But that's okay. I'd rather it bigger than too small, because the very first one I did was very, very small. It was this one here. And I thought, what in the good Lord's name am I going to do with that? So then I went, hi, just make the toilet paper longer. All right, so then we just take our spritzer, and I'm just very, very lightly going to mist this. I don't want to like saturate it, just a very, very light mist, okay? And I'm going to keep my spritzer away to make sure my spritzer nozzle is facing the paper or the toilet paper and not towards me. And just very light, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same on the back. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to place this in the embossing folder. Okay, and go this way. I'm not sure, just, okay. So putting this into my die cutting, so this is what I have. So my toilet paper is in my die cutting, in my embossing folder, and now I'm just running it through my die cutting machine, okay? Just like I would if it was regular paper. So now when I take this out, my desktop here is a little wetter. Is that? I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with my words these days. Okay, so then when I take this out of my embossing folder, do you see that? So if you've ever run low on white cardstock and had no idea what to do, ta-da! You go grab your toilet paper, ladies. Yes. Okay. So we should let this dry. So this is kind of just doing its thing. I'm just going to show you a couple things that I've done, and then I'm going to make a couple cards, or I'm going to attempt to make a couple cards. So this is the very first one I did, And you can see how small this was. And then when I put it up to my card base, I was like, yeah, that's beautiful. But like, what am I going to do with that? Like, I really wasn't sure like what to do, right? So I kind of struggled with that, but I love the technique. And I'll show you how we did the coloring part of this. And then I thought, well, you know what? I could just make the toilet paper longer, right? So trimming this down, I will tell you, I've used my guillotine, my little mini guillotine cutter that was a promotion a few years ago. So I don't know how it cuts in the actual paper cutter. You might have to use scissors. I'm not sure. Again, my guess is the thicker it is, the better it is to cut. Okay, so it doesn't snag on your paper cutter. But the really, really cool thing, I'm just trying to find the cards that I did. So the really, really cool thing is that there's multiple ways that you can now dress this up, okay, if you will. So let's go ahead, and this is, I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape as my card base. And again, I just grabbed from my stash that's over here. So when I look at this, I know, okay, I need to cut that down maybe about a hair, but I know what measurement I need here. So I'm going to go ahead with my paper. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will. Well, I'm going to do something gutsy. This is what I've been doing, and I've just been kind of eyeballing it. Now, again, so that you're cutting off your excess, right? So normally I would measure this, right? You're thinking, okay, why are you not just measuring? Because my blade on my paper trimmer is dull. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball mine down. I don't normally eyeball anything. That's just kind of insane. And I'm going to kind of, this side here is a little bit torn, I guess. So I'm going to actually just, to make it a cleaner look, trim off that side. Okay, so that's almost like I knew what I was doing. Okay, this is pretty much going to fit perfectly. So I don't want a huge border around this. I like it when it's really thin. Okay, so a couple ways that I can dress this up now. I'm going to just take this off. So I'm going to take my blending brush. If you don't have these blending brushes, I'm not sure why, because everybody needs one of these blending brushes. They're amazing. They feel like velvet, and I love them. Okay, so now what I should do is bring in my scrap paper here. Okay, and I'm going to use Highland Heather as my ink pad. I'm going to zoom this out just so that it's there like that. Okay, so Highland Heather, I'm going to just tap that on, and then I'm just going to very lightly come onto my toilet paper. So Highland Heather is definitely a very light color. And that's good. That's what we want. I didn't want something very vibrant. And, you know, the pink that I used is the polished pink, which is one of the in colors, which I love. But it's pretty pink. So this one I thought would be nice if it was just a little bit lighter. So I don't know if that's coming up on camera or not well, but it's transferring the color onto this paper. So again, just because we don't have white cardstock in the house, that's okay. We don't need to have white cardstock in the house, right? So if you were to give somebody this card, they're not going to have a clue that you actually used toilet paper. Like, how freaking cool is this, guys? Come on. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to post this video to my YouTube, and I am going to give a prize out to anybody who posts the picture of their completed project doing this technique. Okay. So this is very, very, very light. And that's what I wanted. I wanted this to be light. I didn't want it to be intense. Now, what I could actually do is I could bring in my Gorgeous Grape. See how beautiful that is? I don't know if you guys can tell on camera. So that is Highland Heather is what I used on that one. So if I bring in Gorgeous, this is so pretty. So, so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I bring in my Gorgeous Grape, then I can actually just come in and highlight a little bit of the darker areas that I maybe want to just showcase a little bit more. And of course, with the blending brushes, you can mix your colors, you can do all sorts of fun things, right? So have you guys not used these blending brushes? You have to tell me. It's a must-have tool. Okay, so I hope that's coming through really well on the video. I'll just bring that up so you guys can see that a little bit more. Might be the lighting in here too. I have my camera light going. Okay, so what I was thinking for this card, I guess I can move that now. So the one little trick you do need to know about this though, is what I have found anyway, is when you go to glue this onto your card base, you might be better off to glue the base instead of the toilet paper. Because if you're using a tape runner, it could potentially rip, right? Depending on what you're using. So I would advise you to probably glue the base and then put the paper on top. Now, with this card though, I'm going to actually just do something here. I'm thinking about doing something like this. I have a cut on my finger that is really, really bothering me. Okay, so I'm going to bring back in the Gorgeous Grape, and I'm using the Encircled in Friendship stamp set. I love the stamp set. I love these sentiments. I love the dies that go with them. So I was thinking about using this die and just doing something very, very simple like that. Just keeping it nice and elegant. So I'm just going to say, in the world where you can be anything, thank you for being kind. And I think that is a really, really nice sentiment. And I think that's one that people sometimes forget. I know the other day when I was at Walmart and I was just about to lose my patience, I had to stop myself and say, okay, these people are human. Just be patient. They're human. They're doing the best they can. Right? So I think we all do those kind of things. Okay. In the world where you can be anything, thank you for being kind. Oh, I just love that stamp set. Okay, there's a little piece here that's kind of bugging me. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this a little bit different than I normally would. Normally I would glue the toilet paper, but I'm going to actually glue the ribbon here on the back, and I'm going to run that across. This is not normally how I would do my ribbon, but again, I don't want to risk tearing the toilet paper, and I don't know for sure if I would or not, but I don't want to take any chances. So I'm just going to do that. It's kind of like the cheating way of doing it. There. Okay, so it's so not even straight. All right. Do you think I can fix it? Who knows? Probably should just left it alone. Anyway, okay, let's just leave it alone before I ruin it. Okay. So this is going to go in here like this. I should have probably moved that down a little bit. Okay, let's do this. I don't need this much glue, but I'm going to give it that much glue. Ah! That's exactly what I didn't want to happen, was to go on crooked, and that's exactly what I did. Okay. Now, I could probably put a glue dot or something there if I wanted to, but what I'm going to actually do is I'm just going to pop this up, because you know I love my dimensionals. And so you can see how really, really fun and quick this card is. Now, I'm going to show you something else, though. I'm going to show you a couple more ways that you can actually do the exact same technique, but get totally different looks, okay? So this is going to go there. So see how simple and elegant that card is? And that took me whole, what? I don't know. I didn't time myself. I probably should have. Not long at all. So really, I'm just using what I had here, my card base, toilet paper, and I've cut out a die and ribbon, right? So super, super quick, super, super fun. Now, let me show you something else. Okay. Let me show you my other samples that I did, and I'm going to show you a few other things that I did. I have 2 more cards here to make. I don't know if I'm going to make them. I might just make them off camera and then I'll post them. But I'm going to challenge each of you to post your pictures of your completed cards. Okay, so this one here, again, very similar to this one. But what's the difference here? I'm going to tell you what the difference is. This one I used when I put the embossing folder through. I actually inked up the embossing folder, right? So I actually put my ink pad on here. I spritzed it. I don't know if I really needed to spritz it, to be quite honest. I might have been okay just to put the ink pad on the embossing folder, and then I ran it through. And that's how I got the color. So the white that is embossed is still white, and then the debossed part is actually colored. So it's very, very cool. So that's a fun way. So ink pad with your embossing folder. This one, I don't really love this one. I don't like this particular look, but I use our finger daubers that look, what do I have? Don't even have one here. Don't even have one here to show you. Yes, I do. What the heck am I talking about? Right here I do. So these are our finger daubers, right? They go on your finger, you put them in your ink pad, and then you swirl around. And you get, I don't know, what's this say here? You get 5 in a package, okay? And you can only use 1 color per. So that's how I got this look. And I don't like it because it's kind of gone out of the embossing folder. It looks messy to me. It's not my favorite. But just to show you that you can use your finger dauber, even on something like this. So if you don't have your blending brush, you could use your finger dauber on that, okay? This one I really like this one. Again, I used my blending brush and I did crumb cake and then came in with a little bit of soft suede just to highlight the darker parts, just a little bit. And then I think next time I would ground those pumpkins a little bit more. But and then this one I also used the blending brush. Okay, so when I showed my team this, the question was like, yeah, but what else can we color that with? Well, I took one piece, and what I did was I kind of used a variety of things. So this is the finger daubers. This is the blending brush. No, this is the blending brushes. This is the finger daubers. This is using the blends. Okay, I used the Just Jade, and I colored them. Would probably take a while to do that, but you can. This one is using our Stampin' Write markers. So these are these markers here. These are called Stampin' Write markers. They are very different to our Stampin' Blends. Okay. So Stampin' Blends are, they're to blend. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. And these you can color with, you can write with, you can whatever. Variety of things. So that's with that. And then this part here, the blue, was actually using our soft pastels. So this is actually one that I had embossed the tree. You guys remember this, the evergreen trees? So I embossed that, and I was gonna actually try, apparently I used green on this once and didn't clean my embossing folder well because I've got tinges of green on here. But I was thinking about using just the chalk and dragging it across to see what would happen. Now this is an interesting embossing folder on its own because it's not really what you would think it might be. So it's actually quite interesting. It doesn't emboss like most of our embossing folders. So I'm not sure I like that, but probably just not the embossing folder that I chose for that. So that was just dragging the chalks across. Okay, so that's that one. And then the other one I was thinking about doing was this one, which I thought would be really fun to do in crumb cake with some soft suede. So again, I could use my finger daubers on this if I had new ones, but I don't, so that's not going to work. But taking, now, there's purple in here maybe because I didn't clean my brush, which I probably should have. That's okay. I'll just cut this piece off. So I can come in and color this and then go back. I won't do the whole thing, but and then go back and darken anything that I want to darken. So you guys see the possibilities are endless here, right? I know. And you're like, okay, Cindy, really? You're that excited over coloring toilet paper? Okay. Yeah, actually I am. So that's just how I roll right now. And I probably should be doing a lot of other things, not like playing with coloring toilet paper, but heck. What the heck, right? What the heck? Okay, so now if I come in with my soft suede, again, that's very, very light. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but if I come in with my soft suede, I can actually darken certain spots. That was a lot darker than I wanted that one to be, but I can actually darken certain spots. So you can see how much fun this can actually be. Isn't this cool? I know there's not a lot of things that not a lot of people would find this that appealing, but I love using household items to make cards. I love it when I don't have to go out and buy all this fancy paper and all this fancy stuff to do a really cool technique. So yeah, so those are kind of what I've got. So I'll show you some of the finished ones. Again, these were ones I was going to do off camera. These two, I don't love those trees, not going to lie. So this is the sample. This one I had not finished yet, but I used the polished pink for this one. Excuse me. This was crumb cake and soft suede. This one was a gorgeous grape and Highland heather. This one was soft suede. And then this one, I don't remember. Blushing Bride, Old Olive, and Crushed Curry would be my guess. So yeah, so try it out. Let me know what you think. And if you post a picture of your completed project, I will give you a gift. All right, so thank you for sticking with me. I know that is not been a fun time lately trying to do live. So it may just from now on be me recording a video and uploading it. Technology is lovely, isn't it? Okay, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you're having a great night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.